this majestic place. She just gleams, you know. Whenever I'm in the neighborhood, I'll come over and I say, hi there. Remember me, you know, I opened you.
The old opera house is so beautiful, red and gold. I just fell in love with it.
The old Met on Broadway at 39th Street was built in 1883.
We had poles in front of seats. I mean, that's the way it was built.
They used to rehearse literally in anterooms to the toilets. 7th Avenue was our storage area.
It was tiny.
Rudolph Bing came in 1949.
Bing really realized the Met needed a new place.
I don't think I quite visualized the hell it would be.
He was tough as nails.
Getting big projects built in New York was a test of endurance and stamina and cunning. Bureaucrat Robert Moses cut through all the red tape.
Lincoln Square was the largest urban renewal project Moses pursued.
People might see this as tragedy, as destruction.
We were forced to move out, you know, connections. We were nobody.
Moses and the Metropolitan Opera Board approached Wallace Harrison to be the lead architect with a number of different architects on one project.
There was 44 different designs for the Opera House.
Philip Johnson hated Harrison. Moses was obsessed there had to be a park. And Bing ganged up with all the rest of them. These were the people who turned his dreams into nightmares.
Everybody wanted more.
They fought, didn't they?
They fought it quite a little bit.
Mr. Bing said, Leontine, you have been chosen to open the new Metropolitan Opera House. Are you kidding me? I thought I was going to die.
Franco Zeffirelli directed the production of Antony and Cleopatra.
Ready?
Pipes everywhere. My God, what is he doing?
The tomb wouldn't open, and I was locked inside.
He puts an army on the stage as the turntable breaks.
You can't use it. It is an emergency. The new house is an emergency.
When something doesn't happen as you willfully want it, it opens your mind to something that's right in front of you. There's something that is shared because all these ideas have to come together.
I'll tell you, it's more than a building.
It will endure for another 50 years, my dear. Trust me.
I'm joined now by the director of the film, the distinguished documentarian Sьюzan Фрёмке, and her co-producer, Met General Manager Peter Gelb. Hello. Peter, how did the idea for this film come about?
Well, Nadine, you know, last year we were celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Met's arrival at Lincoln Center. So we wanted to look back and at this incredibly rich period in New York history, the Met's history, at a time when, you know, Leontine Price and so many great divas were singing on the stage.
Yeah.
It's a time of great, as you said in your introduction, political and cultural and social change in New York. And we thought it would make a great film. And I think we thanks to Sьюzan, thanks to Sьюzan here, I believe the film is really terrific.
Absolutely.
And it will be very interesting for people who not only love opera, but who also are interested in the cultural life of this great city.
Absolutely. Sьюzan, what ground does the film cover?
Well, it actually covers you know, the first half of the 20th century in New York City.
Okay.
And the story of the Metropolitan Opera searching for a new home actually started as early as 1908.
Right.
And we follow the twists and turns of that search all the way to opening night in September of 1966. So there's a wonderful span of time, and there's also these larger-than-life characters in that. With Rudolph Bing, who was the general manager at the time, Leontine Price, who actually was the soprano that opened in Antony and Cleopatra, and Robert Moses, who was the slum clearance executive at the time, who really, you know, targeted this area as a place to put Lincoln Center, to put, you know, the Metropolitan Opera. So.
Well, you've worked on music documentaries together for more than 30 years. What makes this film different?
You know, this is, I mean, Sьюzan and I, as you pointed out, have worked together for many, many years on documentaries about artists like Vladimir Horowitz and Kathleen Battle and Jesse Norman, all kinds of wonderful performers, Herbert von Karajan. What's very different about this film is that this really relies so much on this rich archival video and still photographs. And in fact, it was an enormous research job for Sьюzan and her team because In it are these extraordinary footage of from the BBC, from the archives of CBS and ABC, and you know, the groundbreaking ceremony of Lincoln Center with Bernstein and President Eisenhower. It's an extraordinary kind of melange of history that goes into it.
Absolutely. Susan, tell us about interviewing Leontine Price, who is really the star of this film.
Well, first of all, it was a wonderful interview. I mean, it was every documentary filmmaker's dream come true. But we didn't know what to expect because, you know, she hadn't done interviews in many, many years, and she had kind of wanted to be out of the public eye. But Peter talked to, you know, wrote her and spoke to her brother, and when she walked into the room where we were going to do the interview, you could just feel her charisma, you could feel her spirit. It was as though she was 25 years old and debuting at the Met Opera.
And I think she was really saving it up for this interview.
Right.
Because, you know, in a way, this is a film about her and about her life.
Of course.
And there's never been a film about her, actually. And so this was something that she really wanted to do, and she was so on and so bright and alert, and she gave Susan one of the greatest interviews, I think, of any film I've ever seen, and she makes this film brilliant, really.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I really look forward to seeing the film. Thank you.
Thank you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tickets for the North American screenings of The Opera House go on sale on November 3rd. Visit metopera.org for details. Screenings outside North America will be announced at a later date.